All right, so I'm going to combine two standards. This is going to be, or it is, A dot 3A, which is slope, and then A dot 3B is rate of change. So rate of change and slope. So we're going to be doing both because they're basically the same thing. Okay, so the reason why I combined these two and kind of just made it into like a one-day thing is because another word for rate of change is slope. So slope and rate of change are the same thing. And for whenever we find slope, we use the slope formula. And that is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. All right, so whenever we have a question about slope, it's going to be worded like this. Find the slope for a line that passes through, and then it's going to give us 2 points. First example we're going to do has -12, -5, and 0 and -8. Okay, I know it's been a while since we've done slope. It was like last unit. So the first thing we do here is label. Label, 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 label. So this is going to be your x1. This -12 is going to be your x1. This -5 is going to be your y1. This 0 is going to be your x2, and this -8 is going to be your y2. x1, y1, x2, y2. This is the second point, and this is your first one. And then from there, you're going to write the formula. Okay, so what are we going to be using to find the slope? The what? What do we call this? The what? The formula. The formula. Okay, and we're just going to plug and chug. So y2, and that's when we open up our eyes and we're like, which one's y2? Which one's y2? The -8. So -8 minus the -5. Thank you. I was about to write 0 down. Sometimes I have that habit where I write this one and then the x2. Why? I don't know. But it's okay. That's why I gotta go back and forth. I'm like, okay, y2, y1. Okay, and on the bottom, we're gonna have 0 minus negative 12. Okay, and then from there, we're going to leave it pretty much just like that. And this is where you can use the calculator. Clear that out. And on the calculator, we use the alpha, so the green button, y equals. And that first one, number 1. Once again, thank you, London. And we're going to type in what's on the top. So negative 8 minus negative 5. So just like how it is on the top. And then take your little pretty finger down here, press down arrow, and you're going to type in what's on the bottom. So 0 minus negative 12. Enter. And there's your slope. Negative 1 over 4. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So I'm going to write out the next problem for you. I'm going to let you work it out on your own. While you work on it, I'm going to walk around and pass out the tape. So I'm going to write it out for you. Find the slope, for a line that passes through eight, 10, and negative 7, 14. Okay. Once again, what do we use to find the slope? The slope formula. The formula. Okay. I'm going to let you work it out. Okay, you should have gotten negative 4 over 15. Okay, you would type that in the calculator. 14 minus 10. Negative 7 minus 8. Negative 4 over 15. Okay. All right, any questions? All right, so let's flip over. Well, I'm going to have to flip over because I ran out of space on my page. And we're going to look at one of the little tables. Let's look at this first little table. Okay, and now we're going to get into rate of change. So rate of change is like slope because you're still doing the same math, but rate of change has a meaning to it. So we're not just going to, punch in numbers into a formula and get a number. Okay, now the number is going to have a meaning. So usually you would have like, let's say this were on a test, you would have like a paragraph basically describing what's going on in this little table. I'm not going to write the paragraph because my handwriting is not the greatest today, just like any other day. But I am going to write the question and how you're going to see it. I did put tape like right here. Or you can put it like across. Okay, so the question's going to be worded like, what is the rate of change? So it's like the new vocab words for today, rate of change. For the number of costumes with respect to the yards and fabric. Okay, and all it's basically asking is, what is the slope? Okay, another word for rate of change. When you see the words rate of change, you should think of slope. Okay, rate of change and slope are basically the same thing. Okay, let's look at this table. And here we got the number of costumes. So we're talking about 2, 4, 6, 8 costumes. And then fabric and yards. So like something to describe this table would be, you know, a certain company is making costumes and they need to get fabric. Okay. Usually your top values, so the 2, 4, 6, and 8, these are your X values. The 7, the 14, the 21, and the 28, those are your Y values. Usually X goes on top, Y on the bottom. Okay, and your values here are a little different. So it's like vertical. So the 0.27 is a ordered pair. 4 and 14 go together. 6 and 21 go together. 8 and 28 go together. How many points do we need to find the slope? How many points do we need? We need 2 points to find the slope. So here we got one option. So we got 2, 7, 4 and 14, 6 and 21, 8 and 28. We got 4 wonderful, beautiful options. We only need 2. So pick 2 and stick with those. Which 2 would you like to use? 2 and 7. So I'm going to circle those. So I'm going to do 2 and 7. And what else? Okay. 4, 14. And once again, we've got our 2 points here. And what are we going to use to find the slope? What are we going to use? The formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So on the top, I'm going to have 14 minus 7. And then on the bottom, 4 minus 2. Plug that in the calculator. 14 minus 7 on the topperoo. And 4 minus 2 on the bottom. And then it gives us 7 over 2. But we're actually going to convert that into a decimal. Okay, there's more than one way to convert it into a decimal. You can do 7 divided by 2. Press enter, and it gives you the decimal. You can also, this is another way do alpha, y equals, go to number 4, and press enter. And that's another way. Okay, so you do whichever way you like, or whichever way is easiest for you. For me, this is the easiest one. I just do 7 divided by 2, enter, and then that's it. So your slope is 3.5. But it's not just 3.5. So the 3.5 has a meaning, and that's the difference between slope and the rate of change. So 3.5, and we're going to go back up to the table, and it's 3.5 costumes per yard. Costumes, and it's not going to fit, per yard. Costumes per yard. Because the rate of change is your y per x. Y per x. So that's why it's called a rate, because you're talking about per. Okay. Let's look at the other little table that you got. That one's kind of, you're mostly going to do it on your own. And I'm just going to ask, sometimes you may just have, what is the rate of change? What is the rate of change? Once again, you pick whichever 2 points you want. We got 1 point here, so 3 and 30, 7 and 70, 11 and 110. We got 3 beautiful options. How many do we need? 2. This right here are your x values. So the 3, 7, 11 are your x values. These are your y values. I'm going to write the formula for you. You do the rest. Okay. It is 10. But 10 what? 10 has a meaning. 10 what? Remember the y per x. So 10 seeds per apple. 10 seeds per apple. That's what that rate of change means. So it wouldn't just be the 10. It'll just be the 10 is 10 seeds per apple. And if you look at the table, you got 3 apples and 30 seeds, 7 apples and 70 seeds, 11 and 110 seeds. So you can see that there's 10 seeds in each apple. It's okay if you didn't see it right away. That comes into the critical thinking part. All right, let's look at that book sales graph. So now that we're done with the tables, any questions on the tables? All right, so let's look at that first graph. We're talking about book sales, and a day. Okay, so to find the slope on a graph, we did, whenever we first started working with slope, we did rise over run. And you can still do that, okay? However, this is a 9th grade level graph. So the y-axis is not to scale of what you think it is. Because if we don't have these numbers, it looks like the slope is 2 over 3. Because we went up 2 and over 3. However, it's not really 2. So this is where it takes some critical thinking skills. If 0 is here and 1,000 is here, what's in the middle? 500. If 1,000 is here and 2,000 is here, what's in the middle? 1,500. Okay, so you have to be able to recognize, hey, this isn't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so forth. Okay, that's critical thinking skills right here. Let's go to the x-axis. If 0 is here and 2 is here, what's in the middle? A 1. If 2 is here and 4 is here, what's in the middle? 3. Okay, so you have to be able to recognize, hey, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. That's the critical thinking skills switch that you got to turn on. Okay, I'm just going to write out what is the rate of change. You may be asked it more wordy, more lengthy, like what is the rate of change of the cells per, or with respect to the day, or so forth. So this one already has the points for us. We're just going to pull those points. So this first point right here, what are the coordinates to that point? So 3, and what? I heard it, 1,000. And this one is 6 and 2,000. Oops, sorry. And once again, label, label, label. Y1, X2, Y2. Write out the formula. So on the top, I'm going to have 2,000 minus the 1,000. And on the bottom, X2 is the 6 minus the 3, which is the X1. All I did was just look at this, find it, it's right here, plug it in, minus Y1, which is 1,000, plug it in, whoopsies, and so forth. From there, put it in the calculator. So second, or sorry, not second, green apple. Green alpha button, Y equals, and over D. Plug. Plug and chug. So remember, we're going to convert that into a decimal. 333. And that 333 means cells, because that's the Y, cells per what? Per day. Oops. Okay. On the assignment, this would already be there for you, the cells per day or whatever, feet per mile. I don't know what, that doesn't make sense. Like feet per second, whatever. And then you would just have to type in the number. Alrighty, let's look at that last graph. Okay, this one is, once again, you're going to mostly do on your own. Okay, on this graph, the points are already pulled for us. So we would just use those two. So 0, 2, 61, 16. Okay, once again, you do it on your own. Okay, this is what you should have gotten. Any questions? All right.